Okay. Okay. Ooh, can't even see it. Difference. Definitely can't see that. Difference of perfect squares. All right. Have we talked about this one? Yeah, we did. Okay, good. If I asked you to factor x squared minus 25, what would you say it is? X plus 5 and x minus 5. And the reason why is because you're looking for the factors of negative 25 that add up to 0. And those two numbers are positive and negative 5. What if it was x squared minus 3? Could I still factor it? Yeah, it's still x plus and x minus, but how do I, what number goes here? How did I get to 5 from 25? What did I do? I took the square root. Okay. So no, they don't have to be perfect squares. In fact, a calculus problem that my students were having to do this morning required them to recognize that they could simplify x minus 9 into the factored form, the square root of x plus 3 and the square root of x minus 3. It's a difference of squares, not necessarily perfect squares. So, kind of an interesting thing. So I have another question for you. What if I asked you to factor 16x squared minus 144? Good. So 4x plus 12, 4x minus 12. Which, I mean, they both have common factors, which means I probably could have factored the 16 out from the beginning. But this is still correct. 4x plus 12, 4x minus 12. Yeah? What if it was, ugh, okay, x to the 10th minus 25? What would go here and what would go there? Can we agree it's still plus and minus 5? Aha, that's x to the what? It is x to the 5th. It's tempting to think I got to take the square root, but it's x to the 5th because remember when you multiply two variables with the same base, what do you do with their powers? You add them. So in fact, when you're dealing with powers, you just cut them in half. Okay? All right, that is the difference of perfect squares. I think that's all we needed on that, right? Show me an example. Did it have? No. Okay, good. All right, 16. How do you factor a difference of perfect cubes? So this is quite a bit different from a difference of perfect squares. Difference of perfect squares is very simple, very easy, and quick. What we're going to do is I'm going to give you an example of x cubed minus 8. Now, x cubed is obviously a perfect cube, just x raised to the third power. Is 8 a perfect cube? Good. 8 is what? Oh my gosh. Okay, stop. Shh. No, that's my timer for the video. Not like I'm, yeah, whatever. Okay, yeah. 8 is the same thing as 2 cubed, so I'm going to write x cubed minus 2 cubed, right? So I have a question for you guys. Do you agree that if I plug in 2, that I would get 0? If I plug in 2 to this, 2 cubed minus 2 cubed, wouldn't I get 0? Okay, perfect. So that tells me that 2 is a root. If 2 is a root, then does that mean that one of the factors is x minus 2 times something else? Are y'all with me on that? Okay, if 2 is a root, then x minus 2 is a factor. My question is, what's left over? What's the rest of the stuff, right? So now I want to know, have you guys done synthetic division? Synthetic division, long division, polynomial long division? How exciting. Okay, we're going to get to do this. Now, I'm going to work this out this time, and believe me, guys, when we get into this stuff, I will remind you, and we will do it, and you will learn to love it just as much as you loved it last time. How exciting. Okay, If 2 is a root, then that means I can synthetically divide it out from this polynomial right here, which is 1x to the third plus 0x squared plus 0x, and you don't need to rewrite this part down necessarily unless you want to. I'm going to show you the shortcut in just a little bit. And then minus 8. Do y'all remember having to do placeholders? Okay. So we drop the 1, multiply, what's 2 times 1? Add, what do you get? 2, multiply, what do you get? 4. Do y'all remember this process? You multiply, you place the answer there, you add. You multiply, you place the answer there, you add. You multiply, you place the answer there, you add. And you get a remainder of 0. Which means we are left with 1x squared plus 2x plus 4. This is the factored form of x cubed minus 2 cubed, x minus 8. Now, I'm going to do two things. First, I'm going to prove it to you, which you don't need to write down with me. And then next, I'm going to show you the simple formula so that you can do it without having to do synthetic division, okay? Okay, so y'all can just hold for a second or just watch while I prove this to you. If I multiply this out, this is x cubed. What's that? X times 2x? 2x squared. X times 4? 4x. What's negative 2 times x squared? So those go away. What's negative 2 times 2x? Negative 4x. So those go away. What's negative 2 times 4? And there we go. X cubed minus 8. Okay. So here's what you're going to want to write down for your notes as far as like how to factor difference of perfect cubes. Okay, y'all ready? Write down a cubed minus b cubed equals a cubed minus b cubed. Then write a small set of parentheses and then a longer set of parentheses for 3 terms. So 2 terms and then 3 terms. Okay? Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to rewrite this just without the powers, a minus b. So a minus b, and there we go. Do you see how that mimics that right there? X minus 2, no powers. Okay? Now, do you see how this was just x squared? So this is just a squared. Do you notice how this is 2x, which is just those 2 times each other? So what's the middle term here? ab. And what was the last number? 4, which is just 2 squared, right? The b squared is squared. And so you can see how it's just this one times itself, these 2 times each other, and then this one times itself. So let's talk about signs. Whatever this is, that's the same. This is the opposite, and then this is always positive. Okay? And the reason why I'm saying that is because unlike with squares, we actually have a formula for this one as well, the sum. So can you tell me what it'll be? A plus b, a squared, good, minus ab, and there you go. This one times itself, these 2 times each other, and then that one times itself, and then whatever this is, that's the same, that's the opposite, always plus. So if someone asks me to factor, and you don't have to write this down with me, just tell me what to write. X cubed minus 27. What is 27 the same thing as? 3 cubed. So I would put 2 sets of parentheses. The first one would be what? Good. X minus 3. What would this be? And then what would it be? Plus 3x. Good. And then what would it be? And there you go. So that is how we factor. Now that means, guys, that this right here will never factor. And in fact, it's always going to be something plus or minus something the square root of 3i. It always works out that way. And we'll explore that later as we go into it. But that's the end of that video. And